won fires, led magic. The wizards won fires, led magic.
Midnight wind whispers through the pines, shadowed hills where the lost sun hides. I close my eyes and I start to ride to the land where my dreams collide. Oh, take me where the moonlight bleeds across the fields of forgotten dreams. In haunted valleys I will roam, in magic lands I call my own.
Midnight highway black as a raven's wing, dust kicks up where forgotten bells still ring. Moonlight bleeds through the cracks in my mind, chasing shadows of a place I can't find. Heartbeat echoes in the hollers hollow, where dreams and nightmares learn to follow. There's a world just beyond our own, where the lost and restless roam. Get the wizard before he gets you, son, for you'll notch his pistol sure. Rust-stained roads and twisted pines hide old curses in crooked lines. I've seen his lantern burning cold, guiding souls to tales untold. Your reflections won't be the same when he calls you by your true name. There's a world just beyond our own, where the lost and restless roam. Get the wizard before he gets you, son, or you'll notch his pistol sure. Dreams bleed into the waking hours. Night extends its hungry towers. Truth and fear entwine their roots when shadows gather at your boots. When shadows gather at your boots.
Hey guys, good to be back. It's been a while since I have been back, and I'm going to have in a moment with me Erin, Margaret, and hopefully Dave. Dave is on the road, so relevant to what we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, before I even get to what I wanted to, the main purpose of the show, I want to make an appeal on the Sandra Crispo case to someone that I had spoke with on the phone I think it was maybe in March. It could possibly have been in February. It's a woman that reached out to me, and we spoke a couple of times on the phone. She had some very important information on the case. And at the time, and I did my best to help out, but at the time we were also working on my book was coming out, and obviously I had some medical stuff going on, and we were getting ready for the trial for Karen Reed version 2 of that trial. So please reach out to me again, because I lost your contact information. I had all your contact information on a digital file that computer went kaput. So I don't have a way of getting in touch with you again. So in the chance that you get this message, you are someone that came forward bravely with some very crucial information. And I really want you to reach out to me again, please. As you'll see, we're working very hard. We are focused on this case now. So let me knock off this thing on the screen. Margaret is just about here. There she is. And Erin is here. Hi, Erin.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey,
Erin.
Margaret.
Hi, Margaret.
Hey, Kevin. How
Good
are
to
you
see
guys? Good to see you too.
So I don't know if we'll have Dave here or not, or maybe we'll get him at some point from his car. So Dave is actually busy doing very important work at this very moment related to the Sandra Crispo case. He is interviewing one or two of the people at that. We don't want to get into too many details, but that are fingered by some of the siblings as being the killers in this case. He is sitting with them right now in a public place, recording an interview with them. And he says it's going very well. And it's about an hour from his house. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on in some form. But if not, we're ready to go forward without him tonight. And what we want to do is the announcement tonight. I wasn't trying to be deceptive. It's what I wanted. The announcement was that the four of us, me, Margaret, Erin, and of course, Dave McGrath, are doing a podcast series for Wondery on the Sandra Crispo case. And I think we have more information on this than anybody else. Erin and Dave had been researching this a couple of years ago. Erin did a lot of original research into it. And so that's why we wanted to bring her back on the team. And so we're all equal partners on this team. And Dave's on the road right now doing some, he also recorded with one of the other siblings related to the case. So I don't know if you guys want to react to what I just said there at all. Erin, I'll go to you first, Erin, since you started working on this case a couple of years ago. Maybe what first drew you to this case?
Oh, it was all Dave, like fully Dave. He was like, "You gotta check this out," and came to me with the same story I think he's told everyone about the connection he has with Sandra's daughter, and just said, "You got to look into this. You got to look into this. Check this." And he had me looking all over the place and resources I used to have access to. And the more we dug, the weirder it got. And we just kept going. And then eventually we sort of had to drop off because of some static we were getting from another side. And yeah, it was,
right. That static still exists, but we've decided to plow ahead anyways.
It does, yeah. Well, thankfully, I have backup this time.
Yeah.
With backup?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No, sorry. Yeah,
Another word for static could be seen as danger, but
yeah.
not to over dramatize it. But and of course we didn't know Margaret back then, but Margaret is hooked on this case now too, right?
Oh, yeah. Especially, I live down here in the South Shore, and I've heard about it, obviously, over the years. So it's right in my neck of the woods. And what fascinates me, there's so many angles that we'll obviously talk about in the podcast, but I think it has the potential to be, first of all, it's a very sad case. This poor woman is gone, disappeared, vanished. But there are many intriguing layers to the case, all the way to gold bars, which we'll get into. But I'm excited to sink my teeth into it with you guys. It's going to be a great collaboration.
I think so.
I'm turning your mic up a little bit, Erin. Somebody in chat said StreamYard allows me to do this now. I don't know if you've used the new StreamYard, so let me keep turning it up and see.
Okay.
talk again. This is all the way up.
Is this a little better?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, I switched to a different mic. Sorry. It's my Yeti is way over there, buried under a bunch of stuff, so I didn't have time to hook it up.
The studio's been quiet, huh?
Yeah.
The Aaron studio.
Well, I've been working on a couple of things, but nothing I can release yet because some things are on hold with court and other stuff. So it's just been a lot of me doing research and chatting a lot with the people involved. So unfortunately, it can't go anywhere yet, but this came at a really opportune time. So I'll just focus on my energy here.
I hope you don't mind my saying so, but you look very healthy.
Thank you. I've lost 50 pounds, so I'm feeling good.
I was going to say you look like you lost a lot of weight. I always try to be careful how I say that, but I've lost like 40 pounds myself. But you know,
we're all getting
skinny. So one of the things about this case is, and like when we had you on the show, Aaron, and we with the Molly Bish case recently, and one of the intriguing things was that you listed several suspects that each one you kind of went, wow, that one really could be the person. And then the next suspect could be, wow, no, maybe it's this person. There was, really convincing evidence for each one.
Yeah.
Well, this is even, this is like this on this Sandra Crispo like this, we're going to find, and we'll see this in this podcast. It's like that on steroids. And we don't know where it's going to go. So right now there are multiple siblings who are siblings of Sandra Crispo. And their father died and apparently left a secret fortune in gold bars. We don't know how. It was not part of his estate officially. We don't know how it was amassed, but there's a lot of evidence that it almost certainly had something to do with why Sandra Crispo went missing. And whatever's happened to do is linked to that gold bars. And the various siblings in the family have been pointing the finger at each other as the culprit, which obviously there's no more serious charge than that. And yet we also have evidence that they might all be innocent. It might be somebody else, which isn't surprising if there is gold involved and somebody else knows about it. So that's the case we're looking at here.
Or did she take off with the gold and is she somewhere in another part of the world basking in the sun? So there's even that angle. Never know.
Listening to this show right now, laughing her ass off. Well, I hope so, because that would mean she's still alive.
Yeah. But they haven't found a body, so.
Right.
No trace of a body.
No.
Did they identify that skull they found out?
So back in March, they found a skull along Route 3 in Plymouth. And again, that's not far from where I am. And they've had the skull, they've analyzed it, but the state police has not released whose skull they think it is. And again, there are other missing people in the area. There's Anna Walsh, for example. They haven't found her body yet. There's Sandra Crispo. But it also could simply be sadly, maybe a homeless person or a drug addict. But of course, this is the time of year that hunters go out and they start, hunting for birds such as pheasant. And that's when they often find skeletons or human remains. But of course, this was back in March, but still something else could come up at this point. But I'm waiting to see what the state police will say. Have you heard?
And we think of the New Bedford serial killers.
Yes.
So there's a pattern here where killers will leave somebody by the side of a highway. It's easy. You pull your car over and throw the body out, So there's a lot of possibilities for something
and
like
then what happens sometimes if you leave them in the woods or in a shallow grave, animals will take parts of the body, an animal might carry it some distance, like an arm or, a leg, a skull. And that's what we're dealing with as well.
Right. Comfort and Joy says, I don't think Sandra would have left her kids and grandkids, which brings up, kind of an interesting thing. So the last known person to see Sandra was her daughter's husband, Tim. Now, Sandra had brought her car to the repair shop. the muffler had been going or gone for a long time. So so she took it to the repair shop and he gave her a ride home. And that was about 5 p.m. This is in August. And that's the last time that anybody has reported ever seeing her. But she was due to babysit their kids that night. So
Right.
Lena is the one that showed up at the house and learned that Sandra was missing. And it looked like there'd been a little bit of a disturbance there. The bed had been flipped over. And the mattress boards had been pulled out. But that was 2 days later. So if she was supposed to show up to babysit, why did they wait 2 days to go looking for her?
I think that's very strange and something we'll have to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there may be a perfectly good explanation for it. And Dave has interviewed Lena on the record just a few days ago. So you're going to hear it. If there is an explanation, you're going to hear it. And sometimes sometimes people don't quite tell the truth, but it's not because they're killers. It's just some other explanation. Right. So,
yeah, they're trying to hide something different.
Something different. Exactly. Exactly. But we're running into strange things there. Almost every corner we take, around every turn, you run into somewhat of a dead end, but it's not dead if it reveals somebody not telling the truth. It does give you some information. But we seem to run into that everywhere we go here. And of course, the person we'd like to talk to is Michael Dombrowski, who is a brother. And he has published some extensive notes of his online that Erin very diligently gathered under the title The Satyr.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. What is a satyr, Erin?
The devil.
The devil.
I believe. Like, I don't know. I Googled the crap out of it, like, way back in the day, trying to understand what, like, because the posts are kind of disjointed.
Yeah.
And there's, like, unfortunately, the way that I collected them was sort of slipshod almost. It was just kind of like,
they
okay,
weren't 100% in order.
No, they're in
They
order. They're in the order he posted them, but
correct,
I
Thomas.
don't.
You got the spelling correct. SATYR.
Yes, and I don't know that his posting of things was strictly chronological. There was a lot of jumping around there, but I grabbed everything, start to finish. And I mean, there's some of it that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but a lot of it seems like almost too fantastical to be entirely made up. So we've got a lot of work to do.
I found parts of it to be very credible, and that doesn't mean that he has all of it right. I think there are things that he may have wrong, but that doesn't mean he's not telling the truth. He's telling the truth. He's doing a lot of speculating himself, about what happened to Sandra, who was someone he cared about. But he describes his father as a very vicious man.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to see if the other siblings have the same description, if they see him the same way.
Yeah, that's definitely something I want to explore with those of them that will speak to us. Yeah. Right.
But if they don't speak to us, so we have the Saturn notes, we can use that. They were publicly posted, so we can use them.
Yep.
That he's removed them, but Erin had already gathered them. So we already have that. I'd rather get it straight from his mouth, though, and then he can respond also to what will give him an idea of what his siblings are saying.
Right.
Give him a chance to respond, And, he's obviously been through something very traumatic in his life, and really more than one thing here. So I'd be curious. I found most of what he said to be interesting, but some of it is so vague that it's hard to follow. He's trying to some of it's purposeful because he's trying not to name. He's accusing people of murder, but he's trying not to use their actual names. So in order to protect himself, so he calls one the ringleader, and I believe that the one he's referring to as the ringleader is Linda, who Dave is meeting with tonight.
Yes.
So
that's, I think, who he does refer to.
Yeah.
With the boyfriend the boyfriend Eric Nelson, who's, he's meeting with as well. So I'm very interested in that.
Mm-hmm. So we hope Dave is being safe out there. He's a big boy. He knows
Yeah.
what he's doing.
He's
But
still messaging us right now.
Is he? I'm not. I've lost my phone as usual.
Yeah.
It's
No.
somewhere around here. God.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's still
He's
alive.
getting quite a bit of very useful information from them. So
yeah.
all will be revealed, I guess, according to each of our witnesses in turn.
I mean, we have a legitimate mystery, and I think we're getting as close to it as anybody outside of the police. We have no idea what the police have gotten to, and we're still not. We haven't even. I don't think I myself, and I'm not gonna. I don't want her to say this now, but I know that like Erin, who studied this for a couple of years, I don't even know if she has an opinion. If you do, don't say who it is. But if you have an opinion on who you think,
I did, and now I don't anymore.
Oh, interesting.
I don't
Okay.
either. I don't either.
And that's
I don't.
yeah, and that's great because you obviously something changed your mind, Erin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of it's changed about 4 times since I started looking into this. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We wanted people, we're not trying to be coy and stuff like that. Obviously, you have to save some things for the podcast, but we're still very much at a gathering stage too of this information. And you're trying to be careful and not to report something that's wrong or that is an unfair accusation. So we're trying to be mindful of all of those things. And but we wanted the people that are with our team, that are with us in our community, to be a part of this process too, as much as we can. Let them be a part of that and let them know what's going on and what we're up to. And I also, like I said, I wanted to make that appeal to the person who reached out to me last spring. It was either late winter or early spring with some very critical information. And I spoke to her a couple of times, and very good conversations with her and somebody else connected to her. And then I lost all that contact information. So hopefully she's watching this show, or someone that knows her will watch this show. This is the person that left the note. I'm just going to say that. And hopefully she will reach out to me again so we can talk again, because unfortunately I lost that contact information.
I hope so, because that might be huge.
Yeah, your information might be now even bigger than we might have thought at the time. And we thought it was big at the time, but now it really, in some ways, almost looks like it might not have been any of the siblings, which means it's a third party culprit kind of thing where, someone outside of the family, but obviously that someone knew about the gold. No gold was found at Sandra Crispo's house.
Yeah.
And we do believe gold was there.
Yeah. And again,
We
it's
believe
almost
she had the gold.
yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. We don't know that she had it in the house, but it seems likely that's where she would store it.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you going to store gold like that? It's almost $1 million worth of gold bars.
Yeah, which actually turns out to be, I calculated, I was surprised by this. It was only 28 pounds. So it's basically like a bowling ball. And so you could take something like that. Yeah, that's all it is. I thought it was much. I thought it would be way
I figured
much.
a lot more.
No, in today's current valuation, it's valued at about $4,400 an ounce right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the price of gold is really high right now.
Yeah, I mean, think about it in terms of the time going by, right? Like, because we're looking at, well, when could he have obtained this, right? And you're looking at the price of gold per ounce back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, it was $35 an ounce back then. Right. Like, and now, I mean, just with inflation, it could have just been like, oh, instead of contributing to a retirement fund, like I'll buy something fungible instead and put it away. And there you go. And back then it might not have been so much, and now it's $1 million.
That's
Erin,
true.
have you heard from Dave to see any indication if he's going to be able to? He's probably still in that meeting, but
he's still in the meeting.
Yeah,
he's still
which is much more important. So he'll be on. If he's not on tonight, he'll be on some other night.
Yeah,
the reunion will happen at some day. Someday, somewhere.
I've been waiting for so
long. So is there anything else you guys want to add about this topic or go into, or do you want to move into the other topics we have for the night?
I mean, I got nothing. Like we have a lot, but no, obviously, like we got to save some goods for later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for all the reasons I said, we're also trying to be careful too. And
Yeah.
there's so much information that's still coming in. At some point, we want to just sit down and the four of us and compile it and see what we got and see if we can get to some kind of if not a conclusion, at least an inclination,
Yeah.
And so if anybody out there is paying attention to this show, which happens despite the limited size of our audience, you'd be amazed the quality and the types of people that listen to it and that reach out with information. It's almost mind-blowing. And it's happened like that since the beginning. So it's if anybody has any information on this case, if you're a neighbor from where Sandra Crispo used to live and you want to reach out and tell us what your experience was, did you know her? Did you know, she only lived in the house, I think, for a couple of years, right?
I don't even think
less.
that long. I don't think it was even that long.
No, it wasn't very long.
Right. Right. So
I
she
don't have it
died
up
in
to top, but
2019. Her father died in 2017. And she was living with her father when he died.
Yeah.
Right. And
in House Neck.
In Quincy.
Right.
Yep.
In Quincy. Yeah. House Neck, Quincy. I'm probably not saying that right.
No, you are.
Yeah, you're doing okay.
All right.
My husband's from Quincy. I got to be careful. I can't ever say Quincy because he'll divorce me. But
how do you say it correctly?
Quincy. Like
Quincy.
with a Z.
With a Z. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I see. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yep. And it's House Neck or just the neck.
Right.
Yeah.
The neck. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Right.
Yep.
Right. And this is I've never been there, but just researched a little bit. A fascinating, very old part of Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My brother-in-law used to live there.
How far back does your family go there? Your husband's family.
Forever, as far as I know.
Generations.
Like, yeah. Yep. Mostly in Quincy Point, though. So it's like a completely different borough. Margaret can testify. It's like I was talking to my husband and my in-laws the other night, and they were talking about like, you can't understand because I'm from the middle of nowhere, north central Mass. There's nothing here, and towns are towns, right? But Quincy it's like Manhattan. There's boroughs, there's sections, and it's if you say, "Oh, I'm from Quincy," where are you from in Quincy? It's not just you're from Quincy. Are you from the Point? Are you from Wally Beach? Are you from the Neck? Are you from Germantown? Like there's different sections and different people in different sections that have been there forever. So like when I asked my in-laws if they knew anybody from the Neck, they were like, no, we're from the Point. We don't know anyone from the Neck. Do
they have like old feuds or one side looks down on the other side?
No, it's like it's a different country. Apparently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Because Quincy's not that big.
It's pretty big.
It's big, like compared to where I'm from.
It's city, it's big.
No, it's populated. I mean, it's just I know my impression of it going through it wasn't that big, but
yeah, it depends on where you go. I think it's pretty big.
Yeah,
I go there quite a bit in the summer. So
all right.
Oh, down Wally Beach?
No, believe it or not, I play tennis at an outdoor club that's in a neighborhood, and it's just like, anybody can, it's red clay, and the people there are fantastic. Like it's a great club. It's very laid back, but I love it. So I'm in Quincy all the time in the summer, and then we go out in Quincy too.
Quincy.
Great. It's a great spot. Really. Yeah, there's a lot of restaurants, and I tend to park by the courthouse there and go to all those restaurants, like the Alba's there and everything. So it's fun. I like Quincy. So I do have ties there. So I can ask.
I got to get down there and take the tour.
Yes, you do.
Really
you
cool
can come
place,
with us.
actually. Maybe we'll get Erin's husband to give us the tour, and
he can show you around. He was a miscreant in all over Quincy when he was younger. So. Yeah, he knows more than I do. I can barely drive to my in-laws' house without getting lost because it's like a foreign country to me because I'm from literal nowhere. Like My town had like 10,000 people in it. There's nothing happening up here. And we go to Quincy and I'm like, what
Yeah.
street is this?
And it seems big to me because think about it. I have friends who live in Marina Bay, right? So,
Right.
I mean, you go from, gosh, so I get there by going down 3A all the way. And then,
Yep.
I go over the bridge on 3A, the big bridge. And then, that's where I'm coming from. And they have to come from another way. And it's quite a long way, So Quincy, it's big.
Yeah.
And
It
there's
is.
a lot of different, it's a community where there's a lot of different people,
Oh, yeah.
I want to answer my moderator's question. Can you please advise the people where they'll find the podcast and when it does drop? All right. First, as far as when does it drop? We don't know, but it's going to be sometime, probably January at the earliest, but not too far down the road from that, because so the podcast is going to be hosted by Wondery. They're a big podcast host.
Yeah.
And they will have a deadline, so they don't want it much beyond that. So probably sometime in January would be. Would you agree with that? Anybody have any opinions on that?
I think so.
We're working on a trailer that's got to be done by October, around Halloween.
Yep.
Right. So it's not going to be on Yellow Cottage Tales. It's going to be on Wondery. It's going to be a multi-part series. But we do plan on also making a video. Wondery does podcasts. Those are audio only. But we do want to have a video version of this. So I don't know where the video version will be yet either. So that'll be for down the road for us to figure out. We're just really focused on the investigation and the recordings and putting this all together now.
And the other issue is, will Wondery, because we're contracted by Wondery, so it's a little different this time. I'm not sure if they'll permit us to make a video.
They may not.
Probably not, because it's different when they contract you. Because I do my own.
Spotify allows video. So Spotify allows video. So Wondery doesn't allow video.
No, it's not. It's a completely different thing. So
Spotify's a platform.
Yeah.
That hosts the podcast, but Wondery is the distributor that puts it out.
And it's even different. It's even different because I was explaining to Kevin earlier. I have a podcast called "It's a Crime" with Margaret McLean. Now it's distributed on Spotify and on Apple and all that. But my host is Buzzsprout. But Buzzsprout is different than Wondery because, Buzzsprout, you pay them to distribute. They're just a distributor. And then you get on the platform. But Wondery is different in that they go to you, right? And they create it's different from what like Buzzsprout and everything. So we're lucky that they took us on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the difference, Kevin. Yeah.
So what might happen is if Wondery doesn't allow this, we may be able to put up outtakes and video stuff that we didn't use for that documentary. We'll see what they allow.
Or at least like a companion video, like showing like, okay, here is the location. Here is this.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's some pictures to go along. I can't imagine.
It's going to be they're asking what it's going to be called too. It's going to be called Route 27, right?
Yeah. Route 27, which is really, really cool. I think it's a different name,
Yeah.
Wondery's
do you want to
already
explain
approved
why
the
it's
name,
going to be called Route 27?
Go ahead. I do not.
Aaron?
Isn't that the main route that runs through Hanson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I figured, but I didn't want to say something dumb.
Yeah, I
haven't
Well, I think
gotten
it's
to
kind
go
of a
down
neat.
there yet, so.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's different.
Yeah.
But Route
I've never been on
27
it.
comes all the way up here. All the way
It
up
does?
here to no man's land. So I could probably take it all the way down. It would take 7 hours, but
Yeah, it would.
yeah, I might do it.
It'd be a
All right,
pretty drive this time of year.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's move on to a few other topics very briefly on this one. So I'm obligated to report this. I'm going to give this without opinion or without my personal opinion. I will leave that up to Erin and Margaret if they want to have any opinions on this.
Okay.
So Michael Proctor withdrew his appeal he had been fighting to get his job back, and he has withdrawn his appeal and has accepted his dismissal. So according to this, Michael Proctor has withdrew his appeal amid the Brian Walsh murder case. as the Norfolk County DA's office last week said they're looking at texts and other data from Proctor's phone. Based upon disclosures made to us Friday, October 17th, by the Norfolk DA's office, a decision was made to withdraw the appeal, according to Proctor's lawyer, Daniel Moynihan, said in a statement. Part of that statement said the extraction of Proctor's phone has yielded hundreds of thousands of items, some of which are dated as far back as 2013. According to the Norfolk DA prosecutors wrote in the motion last week in the Walsh case. All right, so I'm sorry, that was not from part of the defense statement from Proctor's defense, but that was from what the prosecutors wrote last week in the Walsh case. Hundreds of thousands of items, some of which are dated. We have no idea what's in those.
Wow.
The Commonwealth anticipates continuing the review and providing those materials to the defense in this case, as soon as practicable, but after October 24th. The prosecutors later added.
1 moment.
So
I'll be right back.
yeah, there's not much more of interest on that. I highlighted one more other thing. Let's see.
Hello?
Yeah, we're still here.
Sorry. My daughter
okay.
forgot I was doing this live.
So did you guys have any opinions on that? I'm just giving you a chance, or you don't have to.
I know, honestly, I didn't hear about this until just now because I've been spending all my time digging in on things that you guys give me on the Slack for this case. So honestly,
it just happened today.
I'm pretty blindsided, to be honest with you. But I haven't been following anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's what seems likely to me. We don't know what the information is, but it must have been pretty damaging for them to say, okay, we're withdrawing. We accept that, we're going away. So there's obviously something very damaging that came out. I mean, I don't know what it is.
That's a fair conclusion.
Yeah.
But, we just don't know, and it could be all kinds of reasons where it's just maybe just decided it was time to give up the fight for the sake of his family. I don't know.
Yeah, but he was fighting pretty hard there. So
right.
I mean, to give it up now after this new information came out, I think.
Right.
I'm sure that information will someday be leaked, so we'll find out what it was.
Right.
So it does have something to do with the Walsh case you mentioned.
No, just that he was one of the investigators involved in that. So that's what's been going on is the Walsh lawyers have been trying to get to the bottom of anything, any texts that the investigators found. So the state police investigated Michael Proctor's phones going back 5 years after the feds initially investigated it, and they were the ones that initially found those texts. And the state police dug in hard to get what they could because they were looking for reasons to let him go. And we have never heard of them finding anything troubling. Excuse me. So
right. But obviously I think this time it's pretty obvious they must have. I mean, come on. It's
possibly, Yeah. All right. The next story was this is something that I think we're all interested in. I know me and Margaret have talked about this a lot, DNA cases. So DNA on a smooth straw is 100% match for a man now indicted for teen's 1984 cold case murder. And as I read through the story, it was interesting. So, all right. So for more than 40 years, the person responsible for the brutal rape and murder of a 16-year-old girl on Long Island has eluded capture. DNA from a smoothie straw, prosecutors say, could now be the key piece of evidence they need to convict the killer. Teresa Fusco went missing November 10th, 1984. She was last seen late that night crying as she left the Hot Skates roller rink in Lynbrook, New York. Well, this brings me and Margaret back. Roller skating rink in the 80s. Where she had just been fired from her snack bar job. So she had a bad day.
Oh, dang.
Her naked body was recovered about a month later, buried under leaves in a wooded area a few blocks from the skating rink. The medical examiner determined that she'd been strangled and raped, strangled with a ligature. 3 men were found guilty 2 years later of rape and murder. But testing of the male DNA left behind by her presumed killer led to their exoneration 20 years ago. And now the indictment of a new suspect. So this DNA was able to yield something 20 years. This is so confusing because it's not going to be revealed in the article. Something in that DNA revealed that it wasn't them. So I guess it just wasn't a match. You know what it was? Actually, it's not that confusing now that I think about it. They probably released their DNA profile, the people that were in jail, and it didn't match to the DNA that they had.
Right.
So that makes sense. But now, and the way they were able to match it now to the real killer is to, as me and Margaret have talked about, using one of those databases to where you link it to a family member.
Yeah, ancestral DNA.
Oh,
so
cool.
Right.
Cool.
So from that, they came up with a suspect. This was a guy who worked like a food truck or something nearby. And then they staked out he's still alive. So they staked out his house and they took a drinking straw from a smoothie that he still got. And now he's a guy with a family and kids.
Jeez.
And took DNA from that smoothie straw and got 100% match to the DNA they had. So now it wasn't fully extrapolated in the article. I just pieced it together. But
Are they gonna go to trial on that?
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, they just arrested him, but
what part of New York is it, Kevin?
I don't. Nassau County. Where's Nassau County? Is that on Long Island?
What kind of county?
Nassau County.
Oh, okay, yeah. Jeez.
You don't know where that is? Okay.
Yeah, it's Long Island.
It is Long Island. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they ever suspected a Long Island serial killer with this.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah, one would think. Yeah.
I know. You would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his name was Billadou. Was 23 at the time. He lived with his grandparents about a mile from where the girl lived and worked. He told investigators he operated a mobile coffee truck in the area at that time. So I just thought you guys would be interested in that story.
That's actually very interesting. I'd like to delve into it a little more.
Yeah.
On another show. I like that one,
right.
Kevin.
Yeah, let's see if we can get more about why the first three were exonerated. But they must have volunteered they must have been pressing for us to get their DNA out. You know, like there's that project, like the Innocent Project.
Yeah.
That's where that tries to get people in jail that they believe are innocent by getting the DNA testing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shut this one down and we'll go to the next story. Sorry about these transitions, Margaret. StreamYard is yet to make it any easier on me. They're adding new things. Do you know they added a teleprompter now? Oh,
they did? Huh.
Yeah, which is definitely pretty cool.
Does it work?
I haven't tried it yet. Have you tried? Oh, you tried it, Aaron?
Oh, no, I asked if it was squirrely.
I haven't tried it yet. I don't know. It looks like it should. That seems like an easy enough thing to do. All right. This is a more recent. This is from today, actually. They were all both from today. Police searching for Middlebury College student last seen Friday night. Margaret drew this one to my attention. Middlebury College is in Vermont.
Yeah. And
police in Vermont say they are searching for a missing Middlebury College student who was last seen on Friday night. Middlebury police said in a social media post Sunday, so they're using social media, that they're asking for the public's help in finding 21-year-old Leah Smith, who was reported missing earlier in the day. Find it interesting that you guys, that they're using social media to ask for help.
Oh, it's so easy, though.
I know, but it doesn't seem like things that police usually do, you know?
Well, I think they are now, especially as a college person.
Becoming the norm now.
Yeah.
Right. She was last seen on campus around 9 p.m. Friday. Mm-hmm. And they followed up with another post on social media saying they are working closely with police and have been in touch closely with police. So it must have been Middlebury College. I don't know who followed it up because that doesn't make sense. But unless it was Middlebury College police that followed up. I don't know. Or I don't know what that didn't make sense to me. But touch with Smith's family and friends to offer support and learn more about her recent activities and whereabouts. There's a picture right there.
Yep. And I can add a little bit. She's, I think they're very worried about her disappearance. Her name's Leah, obviously. She stopped using her cell phone. She doesn't normally disappear like this or go off the grid. She's smart. She's a double major, computer science and statistics. Middlebury is very hard to get into. It's an elite college. She was also a student athlete on the swimming and diving team. So, and they've notified the entire school, but it's growing into a pretty serious case.
Wow, in Vermont too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out of the ordinary up there.
Yeah, I agree, Erin. And the last time they saw her was 9 p.m. Friday night on campus. So I don't know. I mean,
Does Middlebury have a law school?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm trying to think if I've ever been there before. I had a
University of Vermont does, because I was going to go there.
No, but it's not that, because that's in Burlington. No. It's an old girlfriend of mine had an interview in law school up there at this, and I can't remember the name of but it was in this really quaint, tiny little town in the middle of the state. Tiny. I wouldn't want to live there. I'd feel it's too much nothing to do.
I think I know where you're talking about. Let me confirm it. I think it's are you thinking of where the frick did it go? Oh, because it's giving me Virginia. I don't know why.
What are you thinking of?
It's something with a C, and I'm trying to find it now, and I cannot think of the name of it. But I mean, there's Vermont Law School, which is in South Royalton, which is beautiful. It could have been that, or
that sounds possibly familiar. I don't. Yeah. This was about 20 years ago. We went up there, and she had an interview there. All right. She did not end up going to school there, but okay.
So it's a serious case, it's scary.
Right. All right. Let's pull up the next
story
to get.
I love this one.
What's that?
Are you going to do the Louvre?
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, we'll do that one next.
Yes. The Louvre, it intrigues me. My God.
A heist. Everybody loves a heist.
Everybody loves a heist. Gosh, I can't believe it. The Louvre of all places.
Yeah. So here's a picture of the. Everybody knows the famous Louvre in Paris, and I don't know. Would you call it an arts museum? I guess I don't know. It's more than that, but.
Oh, it has so many different sections, and it's famous for the Mona Lisa. But they have famous paintings, and they have their crown jewels. So the Louvre has a lot to offer.
Right.
It's one of the most visited. I think it is the most visited museum in the world.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The line you got to wait in to get in there.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if we have a clip of that show how they broke in. Can you, Margaret? Do you know how?
Yeah.
I don't know if Erin.
Yeah. So
how they broke into this place?
Yeah. So basically, what they did is they used a lift. It just looked to me like a construction type of what they would call a basket lift that you would just see. In any construction site, or even if you're trying to trim a tree, it's a lift type of thing.
Oh, okay.
And they raised it. There was 4 thieves. They were in masks and in like hoodies, right? So then they used a special saw.
One of them was George Clooney.
Yeah, I know. And they used a special saw to saw through the window. They got in, and they used a special glass saw to go right through into the jewels, and they grabbed them. The guards were alerted, but they did it so fast, and they tried to set that lift on fire, but they didn't have time to set the lift on fire. So they went down and they left. But after doing some research on it, what are they going to do with these jewels? So one of the things, first of all, what they took is a sapphire tiara once owned by Queen Hortense, and it was loaded with 24 Ceylon sapphires and over 1,000 diamonds. So what these thieves do these days is they'll break into museums, and they're not going to sell like the tiara as a whole, but they'll break it up and they'll sell the individual jewels on the black market. And it's been happening all over the place. So there's been a big question, why didn't they have better security? How were they able to get away with this? And there's been a lot of staffing issues over the years at the Louvre. They're understaffed. So they're saying, as a result, security was compromised. So I'm sure all the the big museums and art galleries around the world are thinking, we better beef up our security. This was just too easy. And then they took off on motorcycles or motor scooters, and they left some of it. Like there was part of the crown or something like that was right on the ground, and the police found that. But talk about a massive search.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
There's I'm trying to find
crazy.
the lift there. There's
also.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I was trying to describe it, but yeah.
That is some balls.
Well, I know, but
during the day.
So there's quite a bit of a risk. Yeah, at 9:30 Sunday, the museum had just opened like a half an hour before. So my understanding is, yes, it was very risky. However, the award is like the reward, if they can get away with it, they'll make a ton of money on the black market with those selling those individual jewels off. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll melt down gold and sell it on, sell it by itself.
Right.
So it's sad.
I have reason to believe that they are very unlikely to get away with it because Inspector Clouseau is on the case.
I think so, Kevin. I agree.
There's an example. There's a good angle from the lift there. You can see that.
Yeah.
Let me pull that back and expand that.
Yeah. So there's definitely a big black market for it. By the way, as I was, I think it's been 30 years since the Gardner Museum heist.
Yeah.
And they still have that was a, obviously they did this different type of heist because they took paintings, the Vermeer, which is very valuable. They took a few things. They took a Chinese vase.
Some other things, right?
Some other
Can we
things,
do a show on that? Can we do a show on that sometime?
Yeah, we should. We definitely should. But it's surprising that it's been over 30 years now and there's no clue as to who took, who was responsible. Right. Well, there's been
there are clues
of interest, persons of interest, possibly, mob related organized crime, which is, me, I like organized crime. But also that was
people I mean, that's
but that was
there's
very
only a handful
brazen.
of names,
Yeah. But back to the Gardner heist, very brazen, the same type of thing, in that the culprits, the thieves, dressed up as Boston police officers, and they were able to, get in. And then once they were in, they used a gun and they subdued the guards and they tied them up and put them, I believe, in the basement. And then they took their good old time to take
they did it on parade day.
They were there for an hour and a half.
They did it on St. Patrick's Day parade day, and they knew that every cop in the city was either drunk in the bar or working the parade.
Yeah, but I can't. It's crazy that nobody's ever tracked these down, and it's
I know
such amazing works of art. So,
and it's unfortunate that just with these things their paintings, they would have got rolled up, and they could have been left somewhere where they got damaged and destroyed.
Probably were.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so long. The odds of them being stored properly for 30 years is probably not very good.
No.
Right.
You almost hope they got into the hands of some dark, malicious James Bond type villain person so that the paintings at least got saved,
Yeah. I know. I don't know. We'll see. But that's a big
let's see.
So what else do you have?
That was the other one I had was a little bit less interesting, but I had just seen this story on. I will peruse through the latest in true crime stuff, and this one was eventually It's an MSN story. I think a links to Fox story. It's a 22-year-old man that ended up dead with no wounds, no drugs, and no explanation. This was in downtown Houston. And this is, people have seen these stories either in the true crime world or in the esoteric world. In this world here, because people speculated it was a serial killer, you know, that's why it ended up in true crime. But other people think there's a mysterious monster or doing this. But this is young men, particularly, or young women that go missing in cities near bodies, near where there's rivers or other types of body of water, particularly, you know, rivers, canals, and that kind of thing. And it ends up being, and some of them end up being found, the bodies, and they've just drowned. And so, but there's no explanation as to why some young person would drown like that. And they say it's a mystery. To me, it's not really a mystery. You got almost all these stories involve someone that the last time they were seen was at a bar.
Yeah.
And that's the same with this guy here. Kenneth Cutting Jr. vanished after a night out in downtown Houston. Days later, police pulled his body from the Buffalo Bayou, part of the city's 2,500 miles worth of waterways, and about a mile and a half upstream from where two roommates last saw him alive, according to his cousin. So the cause and manner of death were listed as undetermined. Oh boy, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
The autopsy found no external injuries, and the toxicology report listed no drugs. But it doesn't say, did they test for alcohol? I mean, so Kenneth Cutting Jr., senior, the father, said, something happened to my son. My son didn't fall into the bayou and drown. So, you know, this is one of the things you run into if you're going to do true crime podcasts too. If family members reach out to you, they don't want to go with a story that says their son got drunk and fell into the river. So they'd rather go with a story where something happened to their son, that someone did something evil to their son. And
right.
do you want to be the person to, you know, I don't know. This is the same thing. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I had a thought, but you go
I was going to bring up
first.
the Maura Murray case up in from one of the most famous true crime cases. You know, the family has a reason to want to believe Maura didn't commit suicide.
Right.
Or disappear on her own. Because they don't want to think of their loved one doing that, even though there were signs pointing to that. And that's what the police believe.
Right.
So they've put a lot of pressure on police and certain podcasters to take the side of the family, which is that she's been abducted and met some kind of end with foul play. Whoever's typing the computer, you got to ease it up. It's really kind of hammering us. Is that you, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, remember I get the volume. I have your volume turned way up too, so it's really picking it up.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So another thing, as you guys know, I taught law for years at Boston College, and remember back in 2012 when the Boston College student Franco Garcia went missing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a big case.
Yes.
And big search. It was all over the news. And they searched the reservoir. They searched and searched and searched, and they used dogs. I saw them do this, but they didn't find him right away. And then they found him in the reservoir. And it was the same type of thing. He went missing after leaving the nearby bar, which was probably Marianne's. I don't know. One of them anyway.
Right.
And the DA ruled it as an accidental drowning. So it's the same type of situation. But then, of course, there's all sorts of theories, like, is this a smiley face murder? And people do like to think, well, make something that might just be an accident.
Right. Jimmy McNutty says Aaron's keyboard is an old school Commodore 64.
Yeah.
Man.
I did a series on Maura Murray, and I had scripted it out, and the last episode I chose not to do it. And it was, because I didn't necessarily agree with the family's conclusions, but I didn't want to stir things up. I mean, you don't want to do, I don't know, when you're dealing with these cases where family members are still alive and they're hurting. And so I didn't want to add to their pain just because I'm doing a stupid podcast. So I ended up not doing the last show on it, So those are something, as long as we're doing these kinds of investigations and these kinds of podcasts, we're going to have to, wrestle with those kind of things, right?
Yeah. Because we don't want to look like we're sensationalizing, a murder.
You have any thoughts on that, Aaron? Maybe applied to the current situation too that we're working on, the current case? Sandra,
Well, I mean,
Crispo?
there's a balance there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when I started my channel, my goal was to focus more on the victims and the people left behind, and focus more on their feelings and making sure that they were comfortable with everything I was putting out there. So I made a lot of what I feel are very meaningful connections with, sisters, brothers, parents of folks that have disappeared, folks that were unfortunately murdered. And I feel personally like I wouldn't put anything out without getting the blessing of whoever was left behind to grapple with what happened, because otherwise it does kind of skate that line of sensationalism and entertainment rather than victim centric advocacy and raising awareness.
I mean, I think that's a good answer, but every situation is going to be unique to itself too, because
Absolutely. This one is
sometimes
a bear. There's
yeah, for different reasons, right? So I mean, every situation is going to be unique, and sometimes a case does deserve public attention, even though the evidence does not lead to the same conclusion that the family wants.
right.
Because the family wants a conclusion that is going to make their loved one, their missing loved one or dead loved one, look in the most favorable light. And that may not always be where the best evidence goes, whether it's Ellen Greenberg or Laura Murray or whatever. I mean, so I just, like in my case, I waited and it wasn't worth it in the end. But had I had, for instance, a theory that I had evidence for, I might have decided to go forward with it. I just didn't feel like I was contributing as so much to the public as more exploiting it for myself for the channel, so I decided not to do it.
Right.
And I didn't go with my theory on it, and I let it die, and I never did anything on it again. But I don't know. I mean, I had good luck with my speculations on the Delphi case because they came true. But so I don't know. You're speculating, but you're speculating based on the evidence you have. So it's not like you're just speculating and like telling ghost stories here. You're looking at the evidence and doing the best you can. And sometimes there is enough evidence that you can eliminate certain things and come up with certain logical conclusions. Sometimes there isn't,
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? We did make pretty much the hour here.
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so we'll be doing more shows and more updates for you guys, everybody, and we'll give you what we can when we can. And anybody out there in the public, if you have information that you think is useful to us on any case, but in particular, we're looking at Sandra Crispo now, please reach out to whichever one of us you're more comfortable reaching out to, and we always handle that information responsibly. And in particular, I'm looking for that person who spoke with me on the phone a couple of times last spring, who left the note involved in the Sandra Crispo case, to reach out with me again. And I apologize to her, but I lost all your contact information, so I can't call you. So I'm sorry about that. But I very much would like to talk to you again. So if you can, reach out. Appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you very much for being here, Erin and Margaret, and putting up with me. Thank you, guys. And let's call it a night and go have some snacks before bed and watch the rest of the football.
We have some popcorn. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
have a great night.